authorities have been dealing with a potential environmental disaster. Trapped and with nowhere to go, the suspect boat tries a runner, but escape is futile.
Emergency services searched for around 100 packages containing a chemical which, mixed with water, could produce a fatal gas.
Filled with magnesium phosphide, these pods react with water to produce a toxic gas used to fumigate ships' holds. Dumped in the ocean, they're potentially fatal, as the Whangarei fire chief has already discovered. Several pods have already been recovered in a joint effort involving Navy, Air Force, Fire Service and Maritime Safety Authority.
This stuff, if it does dry out, has the potential of becoming flammable.
This is why finding the rest of the pods is critical. Although the ones still in the water are now likely to be inert, if they wash up on shore or are taken aboard a boat and start to dry out, they could still be dangerous. The search area will be based around the Poor Knights Islands and Marine Reserve. The team searches for 2 hours without any luck. Then suddenly the eye in the sky spots more pods. So the Manawanui gets ready to launch an inflatable. On board is a toxic chemical team led by Michael Goss. With no one knowing how many pods are out there, they need to find them before they spread right throughout the Poor Knights Marine Reserve. But the choppers lost sight of the pods.
Just do what you're doing currently now. Once you've located the contacts, just stay on position until the yellow's positively on top of another one, just to save gas over.
Just when they're close to giving up, there's an urgent call from the chopper. They've found the pods again. Success. They've got the first of the pods, but still have a big job in front of them.
The range is a lot wider than we anticipated from yesterday. We were a lot closer to the Poor Knights yesterday. We tend to be getting a lot further out now.
But as to who dumped the toxic pods,
at the moment have no idea at all. Some vessel carrying some stored product would have ditched it off in transit somewhere.
On purpose or not?
Oh, definitely on purpose, yep. So they definitely on purpose. They didn't want to pay the expense to get it removed.
There's no time to rest, with more pods being sighted all the time. After the pods are taken carefully aboard, Michael checks them to see if they are still toxic. In a 2-day operation, 50 sleeves of toxic pods were recovered. Investigations identified 3 ships as suspects, but there was insufficient evidence to charge any of them. To locate the sunken mines, a piece of equipment with a sonar scanner is used called a remus. Over the day, the fish locates 24 more contacts. At a depth of 24 metres, the divers strike success. Most of the contacts are indeed mines. However, after less than 10 minutes, panic strikes.
Diver came across a fit creature below.
Came across a shark, but they've managed to scare the shark away and they're getting back in. But no doubt when they come back, the shark will be 4 metres and was attacking them and all sorts, but we'll see.
That shark was bigger than mine. What happened, buddy? A couple of sharks. Nothing a fin or a knife can't get rid of.
The 461 kg mine will be detonated using a remote-controlled timer inside a mine lifting bag. Similar to a balloon, the bag will capture the fragments if the mine explodes early. But before that happens, the team of 9 divers need to make the explosives.
Then we'll join them together and we'll just wrap it up in glad wrap and it'll be all ready to go. It's just like making a bread.
Once everything's connected up, we get the guys to put the fire on or ignite the safety fuse. There's a 5-minute lead time, ignites the detonator, functions the detonating cord, functions the main charge, and with any luck, and I'm sure this will happen tomorrow, it will detonate the mine.
It's the last day of the mission, and the divers are poised to seek and destroy the mine.
Okay guys, listen up. Just been on the phone to CTG about today's activities. Unfortunately, today's counter mining activity or serial is cancelled. Basically, the French are concerned operationally they haven't got enough vessels in the water to maintain maritime security, and also there's a strong push regarding the environmental impact of a countermine in the lagoon.
While the dive team are disappointed, Operation Lagoon Minex 2010 continues to dive for one last day, giving them over 40 mines to destroy at a later date, making the waters of New Caledonia finally safe. 400 kilometres east of the South Island, the Navy warship Canterbury is steaming towards the Chatham Islands. On board, MFish officers are working with the Navy on a 4-day operation, the second half codenamed Bubbles. The Navy Sea Sprite helicopter has been dispatched to locate the suspect boat and radio its position back to the Canterbury.
Set up for a 90-degree decelerating. Turn in.
They swoop in on the island at sea level to avoid being seen by the locals.
Now 12 miles. Coming up 6 minutes. We've got 4 minutes. Reaching 3 minutes of back. But look, that should leave us 1 minute off our sleep. Might get a better view as we come round to the right crease.
Meanwhile, the Navy rib has already been launched.
Round the back here, I'll show you the...
Back on the Sea Sprite, it doesn't take the crew long to find the suspect's boat.
Got about 3 minutes to divert your attention to that.
Bingo! The suspects have been caught red-handed. But before they can escape, they have to retrieve 2 of their divers still in the sea. With the helicopter hovering over the target, the crew relay the boat's position to the approaching rib. Unfortunately for the suspects, they still have a scuba diver down nearby and must wait for him to surface. One diver ditches his scuba gear and pretends to snorkel. The other surfaces and just as quickly dives after he spots the helicopter. One diver has passed scuba gear and swims away in an attempt to hide it. On board the helicopter, the Navy observers note where the gear is being dumped. Trapped and with nowhere to go, the suspect boat tries a runner, but escape is futile. On board the suspect's boat, MFish find over 250 kilograms of power. Having taken them illegally using scuba gear, it appears most of the gear has been dumped. The offenders can only watch in stunned silence. Meanwhile, the Navy divers head for where the suspects dumped their oxygen tanks to retrieve it as evidence. Half an hour later, and the Navy divers return with the dumped gear.
Here come the boys now. Yep. They've just been diving for the dive bottle and buoyancy comp that the divers were using on the day. As soon as they saw the chopper, they dumped them. And we've had a few divers, Navy divers down to see how they get on, see if they can pick it up. Sounds as if they've got the goods.
Yep, just put these bottles in. This is the 3rd bottle we've got of these divers today, so that's a pretty good catch really. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg.
But for MFish, it's not over yet, as Peter and Craig have a few loose ends to tidy up on shore.
It's a big day here today. Multitudes are down here, obviously to see the Canterbury. And this could be as exciting as it gets here.
The plan now is we'll head over to Owinga, to where the owner of the vessel and the diver lives, and we'll have a wee gentle talk with them and ultimately identify the gear they've been using today and uplift the vessel.
After statements are taken from the suspects, their boat and equipment is seized. The seized boat will be stored at the Chatham Islands MFish compound. Peter and Craig secure the evidence before returning to the Canterbury. 2 men were found guilty under the Fisheries Act and fined $6,000. Their fishing boat and equipment were also forfeited to the Crown. The Canterbury is barely a day out of port when they make their first intercept. This arrest is a Korean trawler fishing for hoki. MFish's job is to check that the trawler's paperwork and net sizes are in order. Craig will lead the boarding party, but the rough seas could make it too dangerous to board the vessel safely. However, they decide to give it a go. But as they close in on this arrest, it's looking like a decision they could regret. The sea swells are reaching 2 to 3 metres, and boarding the rolling trawler may be impossible. But after a few missteps, Craig finally gets a foothold on the ladder. Once on board, Craig gets straight to the task of checking the trawler's catch.
Why are these here?
And the size difference.
Okay, can we weigh some? We weigh these?
With everything looking a bit rough, Craig must assess the accuracy of their onboard quota management systems. That includes the weighing of fish.
Okay, so that's me. You have some cartons, or you have some cartons ready to go in blast freezer?
Yeah.
Is it in the freezer or some waiting?
Waiting.
Can we have a look?
Have a look.
Yeah.
All the fish on board must be checked. That includes fish already packaged and in the freezer.
Are these empty?
Yeah.
Just that one?
Yeah.
What about that one over there?
Nothing.
Nothing, all empty?
Yes, empty. And just the one.
This is to ensure the amount caught tallies with the recorded catch.
We just got some trays of fish, ling, a bit of hoki, some ribaldo. We're just going to weigh them and see how they compare with what he says they should be. How's the ship looking, sir?
It's a time-consuming job, and deep in the bowels of the rolling boat requires a strong stomach.
Well, apart from being a bit and a bit old and a bit grubby, everything's finished, and really it's just a matter of running through these processes and just getting some form of records for future advice, having to do a check at the port and decide to weigh fish species.
Up on deck, Craig's next job is to inspect the nets to ensure the right size mesh has been used.
They've got a chafer here, which means they've got a double mesh. They aren't allowed to have a double mesh.
The captain makes an appearance, but with little English, he's not much help.
You cannot use the green mesh, okay? But you can use the blue one. The blue one is okay. Green one, no.
Finally, the Surest gets the all clear. Over the next 2 days, M-Fish and the Canterbury make another 7 intercepts before reaching the Chathams.